Hello everyone, Joe here from Draft FPL and welcome to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. Before we get started, I have a big announcement. We've decided to start our own private Discord server via Patreon where you can pick our brains on all your Draft FPL dilemmas, request questions and topics to be discussed in videos and podcasts, and join what will hopefully become a great Draft FPL community where you can discuss strategy and tactics away from the prying eyes of your fellow league competition. For more information, check out my pinned tweet on Twitter, and if you do want to support the channel, there's a link to our Patreon in the description. Rest assured that if it's not for you, absolutely nothing will change on the channel. We're not going to put any of our content behind a paywall or anything like that. Also, quickly before we get started, I'm going to do a live stream on Thursday night here on the YouTube channel, and what I'm going to do is go through the comments of this video and answer every single waiver query that you have before the waiver deadline on Friday morning. So make sure if you've got any dilemmas, put them in the comments of this video. I will be going through every single one on my live stream on Thursday evening. That'll be 8 PM UK time, so make sure you subscribed to check that out. Right, let's get stuck into this week's waiver picks. Okay, one thing I've added onto all the picks this week is down the bottom you can see exactly how many leagues this player has been rostered in. I've got this information from draftfc.co.uk, so make sure you go and check them out for all sorts of information on Draft FPL. So you can see here Rico Henry is the first pick and he is available in 50% of leagues at the moment. Which is crazy to me. Everton home is a fantastic fixture. He is probably the most attacking of all the Brentford defenders. If he's not available, I'd also look at Hickey as well, and also Ben Mee is a decent option too, I think. Brentford have got great fixtures over the next few. To be honest, they're top of most of the fixture tickers, and I think a defender is a good shout for this week. The next defender I'm going for is Botman. He is currently available in 67% of leagues. I guess a lot of people dropped him at the start of the season when he didn't start, but after the injury to Target and the shuffle around, I think even once Target's back from injury, it'll be Botman and Shah that keep their place at the heart of the defence. Newcastle look like a really strong team this year, and I know it's Wolves away this week, and I think they've got Liverpool next week, but after that they've got a decent run of fixtures, and it is the kind of person that you can just pick up and sit on your bench when you don't think they have such a good fixture, because I do think he's really good value in the long term. Third defender this week is Webster. I mentioned him a couple of weeks ago, and yet he's still available in 93% of leagues, which is kind of mind-blowing to me that he's available in that many leagues. Brighton are one of the best defensive sides in the league. I honestly think they're easily going to finish with sort of top 5, top 6 defensive stats this year. Leeds at home is a fantastic fixture. Obviously Leeds have just scored 3 at home to Chelsea last week, but I don't see them repeating that. I think it was kind of a crazy game, to be honest. I think Brighton will be a much sterner test for the Leeds offence, and I really fancy Webster this week. He's also he does have decent threat from set pieces as well. It's not like he's got no attacking output whatsoever. He's also pretty good on bonus. I think he's just such a solid pick, and it is mind-blowing to me that he's available in so many leagues. Sticking with Brighton then, and the first mid I'm going to recommend is McAllister. He is currently available in 96% of leagues. Brighton have had a really strong start so far, and McAllister has had really well-rounded performances in the centre of midfield. He's not been quite as far forward as Pascal Gross, but as we learnt at the weekend, and it was quite a surprise to me that he is actually on penalties. I own Pascal Gross in a league or two and in FPL, so I did expect him to take the penalty, but it was McAllister. Bit unexpected, but then it's good to know for the future. As I said, he's only rostered in 4% of leagues, just under 4% I think, and for a penalty taking kind of number 8, that is pretty crazy. So yeah, I definitely think he's a great pickup. He's the kind of player you don't have to start every week. You can hide him on the bench when the fixture's not quite so good, but I do think Leeds at home is a very good fixture, so I'll be more than happy to pick him up in most leagues. Second midfielder I'm going for this week is Souček. I spoke about him a couple of weeks ago that I think he's going under the radar, and I think this fixture, Villa away, is the kind of fixture that he is ripe for the pluck-in. Available in 55% of leagues is Souček. I think he's got very good attacking threat with those late runs into the box. I think he could cause the Villa defence all kind of problems. Villa are kind of shaky from set pieces and just defensively in general. And I think that Souček is the kind of person that could take advantage of that. So I really fancy him for this week. And going forward, you know, you can dip in and out of him. When the fixture looks good, you can keep him. And when it doesn't, you can drop him. He's that kind of player. So I think he's definitely a really good pickup for this week especially. The third midfielder I'm going for this week is Aronson. I think the Leeds attacking midfielders look really strong this year. Obviously, everyone's flocked towards Rodrigo, and there's been a fair amount gone for Harrison as well. I think Aronson is probably the third best out of those three, but the fact that he's still available in 61% of leagues, I struggle to believe that a lot of people have a better fifth midfielder than Aronson. I think all those Leeds attackers look good. Okay, Brighton away this week I think is a really tough fixture, and especially if you can afford to hide him on your bench this week, maybe first on the bench. After Brighton they face Everton, Brentford, Forest. So that is an ideal set of fixtures, and I think a lot of people will look to pick one of these players up next week for the Everton fixture. So if you can get them in 1 week early and hide them for a week, I think it might be really good value. And as I said, the other two, Rodri and Harrison, I think are better picks, but they're very well owned. Whereas Aronson, available in 61% of leagues, someone you can definitely look to pick up. On to forwards then, and the first one is Jimenez. Obviously, pretty obvious pick. I don't really need to talk too much about Jimenez. We all know what he's about. He is back from injury now. He came off the bench last week. I'd expect him to start for Wolves next week at home to Newcastle, and available in 40% of leagues. He's probably a better third forward than 90% of people have, to be honest. So no-brainer pickup. The fact that he was dropped in 40% of leagues is interesting to me. Obviously shows that people don't have that much faith in Wolves' attack even when he's back. But I definitely think he's worth a pickup, and he's someone I'll be targeting this week for sure. Next up we have Brennan Johnson, currently available in 38% of leagues, which actually really surprised me. I guess it's because he's only scored 1 goal so far this season, and that was last week, so people haven't had time to react. But he has also had a goal ruled out for an offside that he was only just off, and he is so clinical in the box. I think he's Forest's star man, despite their signings of, Dennis and others. I don't think that'll matter to him. I think he'll start week in, week out. And, he's on penalties, and he really does look to have that cutting edge in the box. So anytime Forest at home, I'm more than happy to play him, even if it's against a big team. Obviously, they've got Spurs at home this week. That's fine. I'll happily play him. I fancy Forest to make their home ground a fortress this year. So, yeah, I think Brennan Johnson's a great pick. The fact that he's available in 38% of leagues is kind of surprising to me. I'd expect that number to go down as the season goes on, and he kind of proves his worth at Premier League level. Okay, so those are my favourite waiver picks for Game Week 4. As I said at the start, make sure you comment down below any queries you have for the waivers this week. I will be going through every single comment on my live stream on Thursday night, so make sure you've subscribed to the channel to make sure you don't miss that. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.